Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Vitamins, proudly presented by St.Lukes. My name's Caitlin Davies from the Jack Jumpers media team, and today we are live in the studio from the St. Lukes Wellness Hub in Hobart, and thanks to our friends at Luke's once again for making Vitamins possible. Today we've got a packed audience and some eager Jack Jumpers fans who are going to ask questions a little later in the recording, but we're getting to know some of the people, the personalities and the players at the Jack Jumpers that make us tick and help us defend the island in NBL 26. Today's guest is part of the DNA of the Jack Jumpers. Known for his elite rim protection, rebounding and leadership on and off the court, Will Magnay's journey has taken him from Brisbane to the AIS and college basketball in the US to the NBA with the New Orleans Pelicans, and now a place he proudly calls home, where he's been instrumental in the Jack Jumpers' success. It is your captain and Boomers captain, Will Magnay. Please put your hands together.
Hi.
Will, welcome to Vitamins. Great to have you here, live in person. Clear the throat before we get started. We're coming off a jam-packed schedule of games. Still another one to come in this run of home games. But how's the body feeling? How's the group feeling after a bit of a tough time?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for everyone, I think, in this league, and you see teams go through highs and lows, and some of them, you probably should win, some, you probably shouldn't, but we've escaped out of a few, like maybe that Brisbane and Sydney game with pretty good wins, and then maybe we've lost a few, like the Southeast and Brisbane game the other night, where we, maybe should have got it done but didn't, and that's sort of the league is pretty volatile, and we're kind of all fighting, and everyone's just trying to keep their head above water, and it's cool, and I think that's what makes basketball exciting, and especially the NBL. It's there's never sort of 5 teams that are just the best, and there's 5 teams that just absolutely suck. So it's always good and it's fun. You're going to get out there and be in a battle every night. And yeah, the boys are tired, but who isn't? And no one cares if you're tired or if you travelled or if you've played 9 away games and 2 home games. No one cares. So you just show up and do your job to your best of your ability, and we'll try and navigate our way through it.
Well, you tend to say this each and every year, but the league is so even. But I reckon that's more true than ever this season. You see Perth beat Adelaide just the other night when it was probably expected to be the other way around. How do you reset and approach each game individually and look at the scout like it's with fresh eyes?
Yeah, it's tough, especially you might beat a team by 20. And then you rock up the next night to a team they've just beaten by 30 and you're down 12 in the first quarter. It's like, oh, what the hell? But yeah, you have to respect everyone. Like, everyone plays in this league at this level for a reason. They're elite athletes, they're elite professionals, and they're good players. So you just come out there and try and execute the game plan to the best of your ability. And some nights the ball goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But if you can just do, I guess, the best of our game plan to what you can, then you usually put yourself in a pretty good spot.
Couple of trips north to Launceston, beautiful Silver Dome. That showing against Southeast was pretty exciting. The crowd was as loud as they've ever been up there. Tell us about that game and those final seconds, and I suppose how much confidence you took out of taking it up to a team that's been touted as a championship contender.
Yeah, I'll just say we try and win it in Silver Dome. Like everyone, I see all these comments that we don't try and win there. Like, we go out there and there's no game we go out and try and lose. So we're giving our absolute all to all those games, and sometimes it just hasn't gone our way up there. So, but we really appreciate the fans and everything that they've done up there, and they always put on a show. But that Southeast game was exciting, and it was both teams making big plays and big shots. And like I said, it's sometimes the ball goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. They've couple of guys make some big plays late, and we had a good chance, so we turned them over a few times and whatnot, gave ourselves a chance to get back in the game. And Bryce was elite that game, obviously, and that was just a fun, exciting game to be a part of, and you kind of walk away thinking like, oh wow, this is why I play, like to play in a competitive, exciting game like that in an arena that was popping off as well. So yeah, it was good fun.
We're going to get into your basketball and life journey more broadly a little bit shortly, but FIBA window is coming up, and your journey has led you to be not only a Boomer but Australian captain recently and for the upcoming game here in Hobart and also travelling to New Zealand. What does that mean to you, and also to bring the Boomers here to Hobart in front of the passionate home crowd?
It took me a while to kind of process it all. Like I was voted in by my peers in the Asia Cup, so that was pretty cool. It made me realize I was getting older. That was one of the worst things, because it was between sort of me, Jack McVeigh, or Xavier Cooks, and we're all around about the same age. I was like, oh no, it's happening. But to be able to represent Australia in itself is incredible. You're not only representing the country, but you're representing your family, your friends, the Jack Jumpers, the Jack Jumper fans, like what, they invest in me. Like, how can I go and show, every one of those people that, I'm thankful and grateful for them. And then to be voted in to lead that from the front was pretty special. And it pretty lucky in like a tournament with a team like that. Like, we were pretty good. So there wasn't too much captaining, I would say, I had to do. But there was a few moments where the young fellas were a bit frazzled, and China got up big on us, and cool tournament and whatnot. But to be able to play a home game for me now in front of Jack Jumper fans who I've been here for almost 5 years now is amazing. And I wasn't going to do the window, to be honest, but when I saw it was in Hobart, I'd put my hand straight up, and there was no way I was going to miss that. So it'd be pretty amazing.
You said those guys at that level don't necessarily need captaining, but it's also your first season as Jack Jumper's captain. What is that?
We need a lot more captaining, yeah.
I had a feeling you might say that. How different is it, and what have you learned in the early part of the season, what your role looks like?
It's a good question. I guess I've always sort of viewed myself as a leader. And then when you're named as captain, it's like, oh, wow, like everything I says has a little bit more gravity. And, you'll ask me to do more stuff, and you just ask to do a little bit more. But sort of when it comes back to you in game, it's like, how can I be, I guess, level-headed and whatnot. And I mean, I had my moments. I got thrown out this year, so like I'm not perfect, and no one is, but I just try and give the team my all to the best of what I think we should be doing. And if that's wrong, like we have a program where, Tiger could say, I don't think that's right. And I'm more than happy to say, all right, what do you want to do? Like, how can I sort of give Tiger more opportunity to be a leader, and how can I, back someone else to also step up and put the team on their back. So I wouldn't say I'm very demanding or whatnot, but definitely just try and, get other people involved and use their voice more as well.
How important is that to elevate and, I suppose, allow other people to use their voice, especially when you've been without Drim, who's been injured the last few weeks as your vice captain, but who else has stepped up in that space?
Yeah, well, I think like leadership's interesting because you don't have to be a big yeller. And I think like Marshall's been elite just by the way he plays. Like, he's a very quiet man. If you've listened to the other podcasts, he hasn't got a lot to say, but he's about the right things and he does the right things, but he plays the right way and he always plays hard. So like him and Ben Air, for example, what you're going to get out of them. They're going to be elite, bring energy, and like that's a form of leadership. So I think just trying to encourage that. Like, Bryce is just, poker face and I'm trying to kind of encourage him to be a bit more vocal because and he's stepping up in those roles. But you just try and find what people are good at and sort of use that as their platform for leadership. And, that's kind of what I've been trying to figure out as this season goes on.
What about, this podcast is called Vitamins, and we don't literally mean your vitamin A, B and C that you might be taking in tablet form. Vitamins is individualised sessions for each player each day of what they might be, let's call it deficient in. It's prescribed by the coaches. What do you need to work on? So tell us from your perspective, what does vitamins look like? What did it look like in today's practice session?
For me personally? Yeah. So my whole vitamins is like you do an individual performance plan with your coaches, and then they summarize that into smaller things. So my thing is literally 2 hands, 2 feet. It sounds so simple, but I jump off 1 foot way too much, and just getting myself on 2 feet allows me to be stronger, more athletic, pivot more, pass better, more accurate. It slows my decision making down. So It was just sort of emphasizing that in sort of contact situations, and little Mark Radford on the bag just hitting me as hard as he can. So that was good fun. But that's sort of where my focus is at the moment.
And does vitamins each day, each week to week evolve on what you might need to work on?
Yes and no. I think a player like myself, not a lot. Like I roll and I 2 hands, 2 feet. You know, like it's a simple job. It's hard, but it seems simple. But a player like Ben Air, you know, Adelaide might tag the roller, so he has to work on his throwback pass. Can he get that pass back if they take out my roll? So there's little things that kind of evolve for every player in different positions, and you know, full credit to those coaches. They put in so many hours of, you know, video on what are Adelaide going to do. For example, if you know Majuk rolls and I pop, like how are they going to guard that? What do we need to work on if that happens? And sort of we work through that during the week, and then whoever we play the next week, okay, now we need to, you know, not reset, but it's 2 hands, 2 feet for me, and now it's opening up and sealing. So, you know, it evolves, but it never really, it kind of stays the same, if that makes sense.
Individualised for each player, each week to week. St. Lukes are on a mission to make Tasmania the healthiest island on the planet. To find out more, head to stlukes.com.au. We're going to get started with the starting 5. Now, it's a pretty simple concept: who, what, when, why, where. 5 W's. Will, let's go back to your early years as a young tacker in Queensland. What are some of your earliest childhood memories? Where did you grow up, and tell us about your family?
So I grew up in Brisbane, you know, pretty normal city. But I got a younger sister and an older brother. So a lot of my childhood memories are just, you know, almost bashing up my little sister, and then my brother bashing up me because I was hitting on it, you know. So lots of fighting, but like lots of competitiveness between my brother and I, and a lot of rugby league. Like I played rugby league, rugby union growing up until I was about 15. Then I started basketball. So I was sort of late into the sport anyway. But everything was just, can I be better than my brother? And it was funny when I got my basketball started kicking off, it was like, oh, finally, like one place in the world where they're like, no, you're better than your brother, because he was always a better athlete. He's bigger, stronger, faster. So I was just, you know, I was set back from the start. But a lot of memories with them playing growing up, and just mum and dad just driving me around to different sorts of trainings, track and field, you know, rugby, swimming, basketball, just anything and everything that we wanted to do as kids. They gave us the opportunity to do that. So just lots of memories in the car with them, and was never late, was always fed. So very grateful to my parents.
Do you feel like that built resilience, always battling against a bigger body and someone, or at least as big as you?
Yeah, I guess so. I can count on one hand how many fights I won, and I remember them all. But yeah, like I always, you know, odds are always stacked against me, and go out there and, you know, you swing away and yeah, you might win some. You know, that's kind of been my motto. So, but he, you know, as we got older, he's obviously become a really good friend and a really good mentor for me. He went into professional rugby union. So as I was coming in to be a professional basketballer, he was sort of looking at me in a different lens, and how can he help shape me to be a better pro? So very grateful for my brother's influence on me.
About where has your career taken you around the world and Australia, and how did you actually land at the Jack Jumpers?
Yeah, so like basketball is amazing. You can literally play it anywhere in the world. I've had a job offer from almost everywhere you can think. But yeah, so started in Brisbane with the Bullets, went to New Orleans Pelicans, got waived from there, went to the Perth Wildcats for a couple of months, and then ended up in Tasmania. In between seasons, I've been to Spain, been to Turkey, international tournaments. I can't even remember, to be honest. My passport looks pretty cool. That's why I'm pretty proud of that. So, spent some time in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, which, you know, who would have thought I'd be playing a basketball game in Saudi Arabia when I was, 16? I would have thought that you'd be crazy. But grateful, you get to see a lot and meet lots of cool people, have lifelong friends from, people who barely speak English, but how do we become friends? And we've stayed friends, stayed in contact somehow. They barely speak English. So it's been cool. And, hopefully be able to get out there and explore a bit more in the off seasons and play basketball elsewhere in the world.
Is there a place where you're like, I'd love to go there? Obviously, I'd love to play there, but a place you haven't been yet?
Like bits and pieces around Europe, but I've got a Europe trip booked for next off season, so I've got a few of those boxes ticked. I would love to play in the EuroLeague, just in some of those stadiums. Seem pretty cool. So, but yeah, that's about it. I can't name you exact cities or whatnot. I just sort of roll with it, and whatever pops up, I'll jump at that opportunity.
Wherever it takes you.
Yeah.
When has been some of your toughest moments, both in the game and in life?
Yeah, I think the obvious one is like injury with me.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, for those that don't know, I've had 5 left knee surgeries. I've had 2 left ankle surgeries, 2 right foot surgeries. I've had 4 injections in my knee, and I'm still going. But like those times, and like some are better than others. Some are you roll your ankle and it's, oh well, like, all right, it's 6 weeks, and everyone who's played basketball has rolled their ankle before. So like you see the progress someone else has made. It's go, oh, I can get back to normal. But like I had a knee injury like when in my first season here, and I had 4 doctors say I should retire. So I was 22, and I'm sitting there like, what do you mean? And then my brother, am I allowed to swear on this podcast? But
sure.
my brother said, I remember speaking to him and I was so upset. And he said, oh, fuck that. Find the one doctor that says you can play. And it's like, oh, yeah, cool. Like what a good, like that. But it just flipped my frame of mind. But I was so down in the dumps, and I just couldn't, like all my relationships were falling apart outside of that. And I was so hyper-focused on, I can't play anymore. Like, who am I? I lost my identity pretty quickly. So, like those moments are really tough. And then just off the court, I think like when my brother's since retired from too many concussions. So injury runs in the family. But he struggled with that as well. So we almost went through the same thing, almost at the same time as well. So we're kind of leaning on each other through that time, and seeing him, he's had a headache for 2.5 years after he retired. So that was really hard, and trying to be there for his partner, and she was struggling as well. So those moments are tough when your family's hurting. But you just lean on who you've got around you, and you just try and find your best support network you can. And it's just, everyone's going through something. So just get up and do the best you can that day, and just be proud of yourself for that.
Did you find the doctor? You obviously did, because you're still on 2 legs.
Yeah, I'm still playing. Yeah, so I've found that doctor and thanked him for that. So yeah.
I suppose how's that adversity changed your outlook, your resilience, and how do you get through sort of minor setbacks now?
It's just I don't know. I did an NBL interview earlier this year, and everyone was like, "Oh." I said like I was thinking about retiring. I hurt my foot, needed a surgery. I was in Spain. I had they were threatening to not pay me, and I was just like, this sucks. Why would I want to do this? And then being back here in this club around the boys, I'd kind of decided like this is my last year. And then once I realized like, all right, I'm just gonna go and enjoy it, have fun. Like I get to do this, and like it's corny, but like that get to or have to like. I get to do this job. I'm lucky. Like I'm 6'10" and can run and can jump. Like, there's not many in the world that can do what I can do. So I started being just sort of grateful for that. And that sort of just changed my whole perspective on what basketball is. And it's like, it's a job, but it's an opportunity for me to go in there and play with, 15 of my mates and have fun every day and challenge myself in front of thousands of people. And I get to make mistakes and learn from them, and lots of people get to comment on my mistakes and tell me how I can do it better. And it's just you just take the good with the bad, and
you don't have to.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't have to. I get to do this job, and these little setbacks are, it comes with sport. Injuries are a part of sport, and once you kind of accept that, then the little ones aren't as bad.
it might lead me into my next question, which is who have been the most influential people on your career journey and in your broader life?
They're the obvious ones, family. Like mum and dad just took me everywhere, paid for everything, and you never hesitated. It was always, yep, we're going. There was never any, we can't afford this or anything. And they just, I've come to learn that they couldn't afford it, and they somehow figured out they were selling cars and all this stuff just to give the opportunity for me and my brother and my sister to do what we wanted. Wayne Larkins, some might know, he played in the NBL years ago, Doggy they called him, but he's the one that actually got me into basketball. I was just running around at school, and he was a school basketball coach, and he's like, geez, mate, you're tall. You doing anything this weekend? He's a really intense dude. You do anything? I was like, oh, no. He's like, come down to rep training or run around. And I was like, oh, yeah, righto. And just loved it from ever since. And he would, if my parents couldn't drive me, he would show up, drive the other side of Brisbane, come pick me up, drive me at 6 a.m. in the morning. So grateful for him. And like Scott Roth, he's been a big one, just instilling confidence in me and growing. And I don't know, all my teammates along the way have been huge. And you think about the times like I wasn't playing, and like McVeigh and Doyle and, Crawford, Josh Adams, Josh Majette, just all, reaching out still. How you doing? Saw this in the news. How are you? What's going on? So those relationships have been huge. But there's countless people I gotta thank.
We talk a bit at the Jack Jumpers about your why, what gets you out of bed every day, what gets you through adversity. Why do you do what you do? And you just mentioned that you get to get up every day and hopefully put a ball through a hoop. You don't have to.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. I miss a lot. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You and the free throw line have got an interesting relationship.
That's a different demon. Yeah, I don't want to face that.
Will, what is your why?
Like my why is I want to make those who invested in me proud. To simplify it, like lots of people have put a lot of effort and a lot of work into getting me to be a good basketball player. I wish they'd spend more time at the free throw line, obviously. But I just want to do them proud. And I think if I'm not out there doing my best, sore, tired, injured, it doesn't matter. Like I feel like I have a duty to prove to them that I'm thankful for their effort into me and their investment into me.
We are going to get into audience questions in just a second, so get ready. But St. Lukes are on a mission to make Tasmania the healthiest island on the planet. So we're going to hone in on your health.
Oh.
Had its ups and downs, more broadly though than injuries or actually how you're feeling. But what's one thing, a habit or a ritual maybe that makes you feel your healthiest?
A big one that's sort of the past 2 years has been my sleep. Really trying to get at least 8. I'm a bit sad if I'm not in bed by 9:30. I get a bit antsy, but I really try to invest in my sleep and get good quality sleep because, if I get 6 hours, I just know I'm going to wake up feeling terrible and groggy, and it's just another hurdle I have to jump over to try and get through my day. So sleep's been the biggest one for me.
Have you done anything to actually just go to bed earlier, or is there anything you've
I've
changed?
tried different things.
Get off your phone?
Yeah, I was going to say that, but yeah, my girlfriend's at the back of the room, so I can't lie right now, So she'll call me out. But yeah, you try and just wind down. I think it's hard in daylight savings, I find, just with the sun being up so late. But try and make it dark. Try and lower your energy. I've tried to stop eating after 8 p.m. So I've started eating earlier, and that seemed to have helped a little bit. But yeah, there's little things I've tried a bit of, but sometimes it's too hard. Like life gets in the way, and you have to eat at 8-10 p.m. Like what am I going to do? Not eat? So I'm not too strict about it, but I definitely am strict by like getting into bed by around 9:15.
What's a recipe or food that always makes you feel good, maybe emotionally or physically? Is there something Mum used to make or something you make now that's your go-to?
Well, funnily enough, I had it last night for the first time, but
Ever.
braised beef short ribs. Yeah, that was a different meal. So,
Did you make it?
no, I didn't. My girlfriend made it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
wow.
but we bought some new cookware and stuff, and we both got excited about what we could cook. And she's like, "No, I wanna make this." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, it sounds pretty good." But yeah, that made me feel at home. So that was, I think that's my new
tradition.
Yeah.
What about connection? We know connection's really important to our overall well-being. Is there a way that you bring connection into your life?
Yeah, I think, like, obviously I'm around all my friends most of the day, which is always cool. Sometimes it's, Bannon's yelling at me, he's angry or, whatever. So it's not always like a great place to try and find your connection, but and like living away from home's tough. So FaceTime's a big one. I always try and FaceTime mum and dad like at least once a week, separately, and then I'll usually catch them together at some time as well. And my brother as well. He's been away, so I'm not going to get into that. But like FaceTime's a big one, but just trying to stay connected with friends and family that are away, in my home is it's how I try and bring it into my life.
Imagine how a change of outlook can change your outcome. St. Lukes are working towards making Tasmania the healthiest island on the planet. To find out more, head to stlukes.com.au. We are going to open it to the floor, so I hope you've all had your questions ready, because you never want to be the first one. No one ever does. But I hope there's a keen bean ready to ask a question for Will.
Love watching you play, and you are getting better at your free throws.
Thank you. Yes.
I think you were the best at the last one. How many pairs of shoes do you go through per season?
Per season?
I will just repeat the question just in case our audio's a bit out, but how many pairs of shoes do you go through a season is the crux of it?
Yeah, so how many? So I've been through maybe seven or eight pairs. Yeah. I'm not one to, like, that's pre-season all the way through to the end, but I'm not one to try and change shoes every game. Like, I try and find a shoe I like and I wear it into the ground until I literally can't, and then I'll try and give them away to some kids. So, like, I know, like, some players on the team, like Marshall, he wear a different pair of shoes every day. Like, I'm not like that. So I'll try and find a shoe I like, and then I'll stick with that until they stop making it. Yeah.
What are the current ones?
The current ones are the Books, the Devon Bookers.
What's the difference of your wind down after a game if you won, or after a game if you've lost?
Wow, that's a fascinating question.
Deep dive into that.
So I guess when I was younger, I'd be a lot more upset if we lost, obviously. As I've grown older, like, the wins and losses are, like, you win some, you lose some. People say that a lot, but if I go out there and put my best foot forward and we do the best as a team, like, if we win or lose, it doesn't matter. So, like, by the time I leave the locker room, I usually have left all that in there. And, if I go see my family or my partner, I'm just trying to be my normal self. So I would try to say I try not to do anything different. Try and just be my happy self.
What about a treat? Do you eat anything differently?
No. So if we have another game, I'll eat clean. If we don't, I'll have McDonald's. Yeah, that's my treat. Yeah. Did you want to repeat that?
I'll just repeat the crux of that.
No, repeat it all. Yeah.
What's Scott Roth's special sauce, basically? What is it about Scott that brings the best out in you and the group?
Yeah. So, interesting question, because all coaches are different and all coaches are good at different things. I think Scott's got a really good assistant coaches. So the skill development, the attention to detail they put in is next to none. And he's really consistent. So win, lose, draw, win by 20, lose by 20. We're doing the same thing. Like, practice is the same. We're working on the same things, because he believes, if we do these things well, we're going to put ourselves in a good position to win. And that's what he believes. And why I really like it is you have coaches that say that at the start of the season, right? And then you win 4 in a row and yeah, woohoo, like we're the best, let's go. You lose 3 in a row and it's like, oh, we have to change everything. We're not going to compete at this. And it's like, well, we just worked on this preseason stuff for 2 months and you're throwing it out the window just because someone hit a game winner. There's like little tiny thing like, yeah, we lose by 2 points in 3 games and you want to reset the whole schedule. So what I really like about it is just consistent. So every day what your job is, what you have to do. It obviously comes down to scout. Like, gets a bit more in complex, obviously, but who are we going to trap in a pick and roll? Everyone knows their role in that, and you do that to the best of your ability, and he's happy with that, and he knows the game's not perfect, and he repeats that, and yeah, I like his consistency, and each player is different. Like, some people might not like that, but that's why I've come to like it.
We've talked before, Will, about role clarity and how clear Scott is if this is your job. Can you speak to that a little bit, and I suppose how that brings out the best in each player?
Yeah, so role clarity is big because he's good. Here's one of his favourite lines is, I don't need you to be great. I just need you to do your job. And you're like, oh, well, Scott, what's my job? You literally go into a meeting with the coaches and they say, what do you think your job is? And you write it down on a card and they laminate it and you sign it. And then they put it in front of your locker room every day. And when you walk into a game, it's sitting there. It's like, oh, well, this is my job. Whatever it is. Like, mine's off the top of my head, elite rim protection, offensively, defensively, offensive connector, toughest MFer in the league. None of that is I have to score 30 points. It's just, if I do that, he's happy with my production and my output. Stats are whatever they are. And then he's just like, just do your job. So if all 12 of us are doing that, then we're in a good spot.
What emotions did you have after winning the championship in NBL 24?
A lot of emotions. I don't know if you've seen the video. I start crying. And it was sort of out of, I'm sure all you guys felt it, but it felt like my heart was in my throat for 4 games. I just couldn't breathe. And when we'd won, it was like, oh my God, I can breathe. And I think I was just so relieved because you play for 2 months longer. And, if we would have lost, that would have sucked. So I don't know how Melbourne have done it 2 years in a row. That's been tough. But relieved, happy, so excited. I'd actually torn my hamstring, so I was a bit sad about my hamstring. And then, I saw my family and, we all, I don't know, my mum and I just started crying again. And so it was very, very emotional, but the main one would have been joy. Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it was good.
Why did you get rid of it?
It was good. I liked my long hair, but I woke up and it was so cold in my house. I had my hoodie on when I was sleeping. I woke up and all my hair was in my mouth and my face. I was like, nah, this is it. I'm going to get a trim. And I went to get a trim and it was so expensive. I don't know how girls afford haircuts. This is insane. So I said, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna shave it again. Like I'm sick of it, and I don't want to have to the upkeep of it. And I just remember like having a shower and actually being able to like feel my scalp straight away. It was incredible. But it's feeling good. I'm feeling fast.
Is there a plan then, or you're budgeting for the next one?
No, I'm just however I feel at the day, I'll just cut it then.
What are some of the life lessons you've learnt from playing basketball?
Think about that. So I think the biggest one that I've learned is it's not about you. So however I'm feeling going into training, or it's not about me. How can I pick someone else up? Like how can I challenge someone else to be better today? And then at the Jack Jumpers, we call that investing in someone else. And then that ties into celebrating others' success. So I think when you're selfless and invest in others and want to see others do great, you put yourself in a good position to be around good people that want you to do the same. So if I come in and do that, KB will come in and, invest in me and help lift me up and push me up. So that's, I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned in basketball.
I think everyone has probably seen the video of when Will got selected in the Boomers and his first question was, did Jack get picked? And I think that's for 4 years of Jack Jumpers training of how can I invest in someone else, drilled into him of I'm prouder of someone else almost than I am of myself. And I suppose that's a big Scott Rothism that, it is drilled in every day, because if you can celebrate others' success, then you'll get to your own best self as well. We might have time for one more before we get to the final buzzer, if there is any lingering questions. Retiring you.
The mighty question, yeah.
Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years is the question.
Well, I'm 27, so hopefully still playing. But post-career, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think I want something that challenges me to be my best self and be in an environment where I can do that. And the beauty of the Jack Jumpers is, like, I know by name all of our sponsors, and they're all so willing to help. And the amount of times I've asked, maybe can I get some experience? Yes, no problem. Here's my number. Here's this person's number. If you're in Melbourne, call this person. So I think as I've gotten older, it's just trying to link those contacts and sort of make a little spread of, all right, what do I want to do? And maybe I'll just come and do I've done a day of consulting, which I quite enjoyed actually. And, I've done, days at the shed in the farm, which I didn't enjoy as much. But, I just want to be in a place where I'm challenged and can be my best self and, doesn't drown me out too much that I come home and can't be a good partner or a dad or so something I enjoy doing. But it's the ultimate question, because I think you're lucky if you find what you want to do in life, and I've found what I want to do. And the unfortunate thing is it's short-lived. And I do not want to be a coach. So there's that. There is mandate for me in there somewhere. So it's life's next journey, and I'm just looking forward to getting there when, hopefully I got a bit more basketball in me.
Well, we've reached the final buzzer. It's just 10 quick-fire questions to round us out today. First one might be tough, but what's on your playlist?
Oh, it's a lot of Gunner at the moment. I don't know if anyone knows who Gunner is, but yeah.
Not many people in your age demographic.
No, Bryce is up the back. He knows what I'm talking about, yeah.
What is your favourite place or space? That might be a space in your house, or it might be a totally different destination.
My lounge. Yeah.
Good couch?
Good couch, yeah. Good nap couch. Yeah.
Good view.
Great view. Yeah.
Well, who's the most interesting person you've met along the way?
McVeigh's got to be up there. Yeah, he's a strange cat, yeah.
Your favourite NBL away venue? My Straight Bank Arena is obviously top.
I'll say Brisbane, because my family, a lot of my family and friends get to be there.
Favourite phone app?
Well, I deleted all my socials except Facebook. So
you're getting
Facebook
old.
Marketplace, yeah.
You're getting old.
Facebook's
your go-to social media. What are you reading, watching, or listening to at the moment?
What am I reading? Reading a few crime thrillers. That's about it. I don't know the names. I don't really read the names because they're all the same, but they hook me.
Which player would be on your most frequent or your most recent or your most frequent call list?
Harry Froling. I don't know if Harry Froling, yeah. One of my good mates.
How is he going?
Yeah, he's good, yeah. They won their last two, so he's happy. So, yeah.
Favourite pair of shoes, basketball or otherwise?
I just got a new pair of loafers from Ralph Lauren, so I'm pretty chuffed about those.
Fancy.
Yeah. Try and find a pair of loafers in a size 15. There you go. Yeah.
Special order.
No, I know. It's tough, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Do you have a restaurant recommendation for us? Hobart or otherwise?
Bear With Me Cafe. Yeah. my spot.
Beautiful. And Will, what's one thing you do to stay healthy?
I try and get good sleep.
Yeah.
There you go. Answer that one already.
Will, thank you so much for joining us today. That's all we have time for in today's episode of Vitamins presented by St. Lukes. Of course, make sure everyone stays up to date on the Jack Jumpers socials to see everything that is happening. A huge thank you once again to our friends at St. Lukes and for all of you for joining us here today. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Will, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.